Welcome to Lanterns Live. It's Ralph, and today I will be discussing all of the rumors, all of the people who have passed on being Hal Jordan, everything surrounding the casting for HBO Max's Lantern series. And to join me once again, is Vactor. Vactor, welcome to the show.
In brightest Ralph, in blackest Vector. I'm doing great, Ralph. This is excellent. I love coming here talking Green Lanterns with you. Lanterns Live is amazing.
Yeah, thank you. So here's some stuff that's fun to talk about. So I was like, you know what? I got to do a show this week because chances are I won't be around next week to do a show. The premiere of my doc is next week. I'll probably be busy. Woo! So I'm like, I got to do something. And I'm like, let's talk about the casting rumors. So I reach out to you a couple days ago. I throw up the artwork, put Josh Brolin right there. Boom. That's the one everyone's talking about. And then yesterday, he's like, nah, he passed. He's done. So I'm like, okay, well, I still want to talk about stuff. And that's fine that Josh Brolin left. But then today I realized that there's a new issue of Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern out today. And I'm like, oh no, I need to cover that because I'm not going to be able to do it next week. So instead of a new episode next week, joining me tomorrow will be an all new episode covering Green Lantern 15 with guest Will Smith.
The Fresh Prince?
From the Green Lanterns podcast. Different Will Smith. But so we're getting 2 episodes this week. I'm very excited because I really want to talk about Lanterns, the series. Talked about it a little bit last week, but really wanted to do more of a deep dive on this stuff. Vactor, what was your initial thought, since he's already done, what was your initial thought on James Brolin as Hal Jordan?
Yes. So I'm a Josh Brolin fan. I like him, Thanos, Goonies, a lot of things that he's been in, No Country for Old Men. But I really would like to see unknowns in the roles just because you don't have an established, like in your mind, you're not thinking, oh, wait, that's Thanos. That's somebody from something else.
Jonah Hex.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I like to attach people almost like Christopher Reeve, like just a fresh face. And that's who I imprint on as, hey, that was, even when Ryan Reynolds was Green Lantern, it was, hey, that's Ryan Reynolds. That's Van Wilder, So
Right.
So when I saw the news, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that would have been interesting because I like him as an actor, but also let's get some fresh blood in there. Let's get some new people. Right. Let's get some fresh faces.
Well, the tough thing is this. Every article that talks about the casting of this role, they keep saying grizzled old Hal Jordan. It's an older version, a grizzled version. And I'm just like, I don't know how old they need to make him because I kind of want Green Lantern to have staying power.
Right.
So I'm kind of hoping for maybe a younger person so that we can get, if this is great, which I'm hoping it is, I would like it to sort of go beyond like 10 years. I don't need Green Lantern to be in his 70s or 60s, or Hal Jordan at least. So it's one of those things where I'm like, I feel like some of the other names mentioned, like Matthew McConaughey, who also passed, like maybe set those guys up as your Alan Scotts, which I think they would be better as Alan Scotts, that age range.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah. And we've already got Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, right? That's confirmed.
Right. That's there's set pictures. He's there.
Man, I'm kind of mixed on that too because I love Nathan Fillion, but I don't see him as Guy. Like I don't picture Guy Gardner and Nathan Fillion's personalities. But
I've said it before. I think Channing Tatum would be a good Guy Gardner.
Ooh, he could make a name for himself. Oh yeah, that could be something. Doing the Gambit accent, yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to see exactly how they which direction they go, because even when they announced Nathan Fillion, I was like, well, that's a choice. That's something that
Right.
they definitely, they're looking for something specific. When you cast Nathan Fillion, there's something specific. I know he's James Gunn's best buddy, but
Right.
very interested to see which direction they go with Hal Jordan, like you said, the grizzled old veteran.
Yeah, if he's roughly around the same age as Guy, that would kind of make sense. But again, like I don't want to be seeing these guys showing up, in like 10 years. Clone Avenger says that they can possibly, set up Hal's story in Lanterns, where we see flashbacks to a younger Hal, maybe setting up a prequel series if Lanterns is a huge hit. I prefer younger Hal, but it is what it is. I agree wholeheartedly with that statement, across the board. I would love to
Yeah.
see younger Hal, whether it's like a Glenn Powell or a Alden Ehrenreich, or
Ooh.
bring we need those kind of guys that have
Yes.
I think of those guys because I've seen them in leather jackets and they're pilots and other things. I think
Yes.
that's
Yes.
that's where I'm
Well,
getting that from.
we just solved it. We're going to have Tom Cruise as the old Hal Jordan, and we're going to have Glenn Powell as the younger Hal Jordan in the
There was,
flashbacks. We just solved
I'm
it.
pretty sure there was a rumor like maybe a decade ago that Tom Cruise was going to be Hal Jordan. I
That
never.
sounds right. Yeah.
I mean, if it was made in the 80s, this doesn't make any sense
Ooh.
timeline wise. But if it was made in the
Oh.
80s, I could see Tom Cruise as a Kyle Rayner,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
maybe a little bit like a real
A
young, like.
yeah. What was that
But
movie? Risky Business. Like, yeah, Risky Business
right,
type
yeah,
Tom Cruise. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, Jeremy Kelly says, "Why not pull a Monarch and use Kurt and Wyatt Russell?"
They're real life father and son.
I think Kurt Russell would be a good Alan Scott.
Mm. Hey, let's get Dennis Quaid and Jack Quaid. Yeah, like we get the two father and sons. Yeah.
That would be great too.
Which
I think that would be terrific.
I am a dummy. I didn't find out that they were related until like last week. The Quaid part of it never even crossed my mind. And
Right.
it blew my mind when that's his dad. Meg Ryan's his mom.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Quaid sounds like a stage name. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Urban brings up he really wants to see Chris Pine as Hal Jordan.
Ooh.
Now, Chris Pine. So here's the list that we're sort of talked about as rumor. Josh Brolin out, Matthew McConaughey out. I don't think Matthew McConaughey is Hal Jordan. I don't see that, so I'm kind of glad that just kind of went away.
No.
Chris Pine, Ewan McGregor, and Timothy Oliphant. Ooh. Now the varying age ranges. I think Chris Pine's the youngest at 44. Yes. We'll get to him in a second. Because for me, I think of this list, he's my favorite is Chris Pine. But I have other thoughts about Star Trek actors portraying Hal Jordan. So Ewan McGregor, I don't know if I could shake Obi-Wan from Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, that would be difficult.
He's charismatic, but I don't know if he's Hal Jordan charismatic. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because how you want
for like a Captain Kirk type, which
yes,
we'll get to.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
yeah. But what do you think? What do you think about Ewan McGregor?
And again, I mean, all these actors I love. There's nobody that I don't like in this list, but Ewan has that special place of Obi-Wan. Every time I see him in other roles, it's like, oh, there's Obi-Wan. Mm-hmm. And that was the thing. He didn't have any. He had been in movies before Star Wars, but obviously you and I are of the age where Phantom Menace was like a huge part of our zeitgeist, and he like
I knew he was in Trainspotting, and I may have seen Velvet Goldmine, but it was a thing where when he was cast, I was like, okay, he's not already but now he's Obi-Wan, so it's way different.
Even the same thing with Liam Neeson. Like I've seen him in Taken, seen him in other things, but he's always Qui-Gon to me. Same thing with Natalie Portman.
Peyton Westlake, Darkman.
Oh man, absolutely
love Darkman.
I forgot about that. Yes,
I was 13 years old when Darkman came out. It was right in my wheelhouse. Started watching R-rated movies around then, and Darkman is the best. I love Darkman. And
That is
since
great.
it's Halloween season, I will offer up a little hack that I think might help you if you watch Darkman this season. Adjust your TV settings to make it black and white. It's awesome.
Oh wow.
Because Darkman
Nice.
was made in 1990, and it has a very sort of 90s tan aesthetic to it, like a Frasier episode or something.
Right.
But in black and white, it is full on a Universal monster movie, and
Oh
it's
wow.
awesome.
Okay,
I
I
don't
need
know.
to do
I don't
that.
know why they haven't re-released it in black and white, but maybe we can start that campaign here.
Yes.
You know, yeah.
Hashtag release the black and white cut.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Pope shot that movie, and Bill Pope went on to do. He did like Army of Darkness, went on to do the Spider-Mans with Sam Raimi, and then the Matrix movies, and he's amazing. Bill Pope's great. That would be really, really, really good. Clone Avenger says it was a really solid list of actors for Hal Jordan. Ewan McGregor was the hardest to see as Hal. For me, it was Matthew McConaughey was the hardest.
Yeah.
Timothy Oliphant, I like him. I think he would be okay for what they're looking for.
Yeah.
I know it's my sister's choice, Sarah. But I don't know about. Let's talk about Timothy Oliphant, the elephant in the room. What do you think? What do you think of him?
Man,
he's a great actor. He's got charisma, and I think he's got that test pilot charisma.
Yes. He's in my mind. He's been now kind of typecast to westerns because of Justified, because of Cobb Vanth in Mandalorian. Like, I only picture him doing westerns now. But yeah, he's a great actor. He's got the charisma. He's got that
swagger. He's got a swagger.
Yeah, that it. I could see Timothy Oliphant. He wouldn't be my number one choice, but like if he got cast, I wouldn't be like, oh, that, like, I wouldn't turn up my nose to it. But again, in my mind, I've got the Cobb Vanth. That's what I'm thinking every time I hear his name.
Right. Yeah, I can see it. The more I think about him, the more I like it. I still think it skews a little older.
Yeah.
But I know that's what they want. But again, I keep gravitating towards Chris Pine as far as this list goes because he is 44. And so he's not quite, he's not in his 50s. I think he's the only one on the list that's not in his 50s.
Yeah. And we're in this day and age in 2024, we've got so many that the action hero has aged up, as it's gone on with the Stallones, the Schwarzeneggers, the even like Dave Bautista is in his 50s, like, and he's still doing action movies. So I think 40s is the new 30, maybe at what it used to be in the 90s. So yeah, Chris Pine, I could definitely see if they want him to do like an action oriented Hal. But it's also difficult because we don't really know the direction of the show and where, like what type of lanterns are we getting? What type of situations? Because in the past, it would have been Hal. He would have been front and center. He would have been the first one. And now it's like we're kind of.
It sounds like this series, what they're going for is a True Detective vibe. It's an older Hal Jordan and a rookie Jon Stewart. So, lanterns don't have the best life expectancy. So I think old and grizzled Hal can be like a 44. I think it's like he's been doing it for at least like 15, 20 years. Like he started when he was 24, let's say.
Yes.
Like he got out of school.
Right.
He went into the military. He works for Ferris. He gets the ring. So like I feel like you could still do 40s, and still have a 20-year veteran of the Green Lantern Corps is going to be grizzled, even though he doesn't have to be too old.
Right. Almost.
It keeps saying grizzled. Every description is grizzled.
And does that mean they want the look of
grizzled.
Right? Do they want him to look like he's grizzled, or like you were saying, kind of just he's got the experience? I almost feel like a Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith dynamic between the two. Although to me, Tommy
Right.
Lee Jones has looked grizzled his entire career. I've never seen him not look grizzled.
Right.
So, yeah, I could,
There's
man,
like that. There's
now
like that
that,
photo. There's like a photo of Men in Black where he's young, and I'm like, I guess that's
yeah.
him. I don't know.
Now that you're saying this, now I'm starting to
So now to
Josh
get to
Brolin.
Josh Brolin.
Yeah, Josh Brolin's starting to fit way more. I'm like, man, I kind of wish I had seen that Josh Brolin version. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's difficult not knowing. I'd like to come back to this discussion after we see the first couple episodes and be like, hey,
Oh,
remember who
100%.
could have been? This is going to be interesting,
Since
man.
yeah,
This is going to be great.
since this is on Max, it's going to be released once a week, assuming.
Oh, yes, yes.
So this show is going to become a weekly after show. I'm probably going to watch it as soon as I can. I want to get the episodes out. I want to talk about it.
Woo.
So we're going to be diving into each individual episodes as they come
Nice.
out. And it will be interesting to see who they choose. But those are the people who have been rumored as been approached. Let's start talking about people we want to see them approach. Now I tease this a little bit. I'm going to go first here, a little selfish of me, but we were talking about Chris Pine, who's a member of the Enterprise in the 2009 Star Trek. I have a different crew member that I think would fit this bill. And if his show, The Boys, allows it scheduling wise, I know The Boys is wrapping up pretty soon. I think Carl Urban would make a great Hal Jordan.
Yes, I could see that.
He's got that gruff Bones McCoy quality to it. He's also charming. I've seen him in I did see someone say today online, like, has Carl Urban ever smiled? He does in interviews. He does in interviews.
Yeah.
He doesn't in Dread. He doesn't in see, that's the thing is
that's what I was thinking.
I haven't seen The Boys, and I know a lot of people are like, it's Billy the Butcher, right? Like he's like,
yes. Actually, he smiles in that. Now that I'm thinking about it, he smiles in The Boys. He does it like, I'm trying to think, like sarcastically smiles, like, I gotcha. Like he does that type of smile.
Got charisma. He's got charm.
100%.
His comic timing in the Star Trek movies, like he's a highlight of those films.
Yes.
The J.J. Abrams Star Trek. I think for me, he's the dude. I know he's been Dread, but we didn't see his face. And I know he's doing The Boys, but that's like, not DC or Marvel. Oh, I guess he was in Ragnarok. I guess he was in Ragnarok.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
But again, a completely different look. But I think he's got a presence. He's got a charm. I think he could do grizzled. I think if what they're going for is a Hal Jordan that's sort of kind of done with this kind of thing. Like he's like, I've been doing this for a while, kid. Like if he's being the K from Men in Black, like I could see Carl Urban fitting that role, especially bringing a McCoy and his McCoy gruff side to it, but also some of the charm from, I don't know, is he charming in Lord of the Rings? I don't know if he smiles during Lord of the Rings, but I feel like he's already dealt with rings. Let's get him another one.
Yeah.
That's sort of my main fan cast is Carl Urban. What do you think? Did you have someone in mind for the Hal Jordan? And you could do younger Hal Jordans too.
Yeah. Well, man, after you said Glenn Powell, now that's all I'm thinking about. Especially him in a leather jacket. Like you got the movie star looks, like he's got the charisma, and they're really trying to push him now. Like, hey, he's the guy right now. He's the it guy. But if they do it like a flashback or younger, that might be cool to see him. But you also got me thinking with the kind of Chris Pine captain of an Enterprise of an Enterprise, Anson Mount, who I love in Strange New Worlds. I think he's got a little bit of the gray hair. If you're going for a grizzled, he looks a little bit older, and he's got the same thing that Chris Pine had in that J.J. Abrams Star Trek, the humor, the gravitas of a leading man, of a captain. Like this is a guy you take orders from. He's not the Bones. He's not like the lower guys. So Anson Mount, I think he really, he's been acting for a while, but it was Strange New Worlds that kind of put him on my radar. And I think he would be a pretty good Hal, as far as, like I said, if they're going for this grizzled version of Hal, and not like the one you and I think we're thinking of the Jeremy Adams, like the current Hal Jordan that they display in the comics. That's what I'm thinking.
Right.
But if we're gonna go this different version, I could definitely see a captain of a ship being the Hal Jordan of, this is who we went to, like you said, like kind of like the K for the younger generation.
Shatner's still around.
Ooh. I was gonna make a joke. I almost said now blanking on his name, Jean-Luc Picard.
Oh yeah.
Xavier.
Patrick Stewart.
Yes, Patrick Stewart. I almost said Patrick Stewart as a joke. But yeah, he's grizzled. He can go, he's what, his 80s, 70s, 80s. But yeah, Shatner's like almost 100. Yeah, let's get
Irvin asks, would Carol also be in her 40s if she appeared on the show? Sure, I guess. I'm assuming. I think that Jennifer Connelly would have always made a terrific Carol Ferris.
Wow.
That's something that I would very much enjoy.
Yes.
I think she'd be great, but then now we're talking about Top Gun again.
Yeah, that was very influential. That Top Gun, the latest one that came out. I wonder if Hollywood would even allow the lady role, the female role, to be older, because like you said, Top Gun, that it made sense for the older Tom Cruise. But even that, I think the difference between Tom Cruise and Jennifer was even Jennifer Connelly was even kind of like 20, 30 years. So I wonder if Hollywood would even allow that. Like they'd cast her as 30 and then, oh yeah, she's in her 40s. I don't know.
I don't know how much Carol would be in it, because it sounds like the way they're setting
it's going to be in space.
It really sounds like, I don't know if it's going to be in space. They keep saying it's terrestrial, so I'm assuming Earth.
Okay.
And we don't really know what's going on, other than that there's something happened on Earth, a crime that is using Hal and a rookie John.
Man,
Stewart.
I like this.
So Johnny, Lucha Johnny came on. We were talking about when this show was kind of greenlit, and I was like, well, why would Earth need 2 Green Lanterns to help solve a crime? And then he was like, well, unless it has something to do with either someone got killed by a ring, or someone got killed, or there's a dead lantern with a power battery sitting in the middle of America or something. So we're not exactly sure what's going on, but everything seems to sound like it's a True Detective sort of mystery show revolving these 2 characters. So I don't know how much Carol will fit into it. But I mean, I'd love to see her either to establish that Hal was or is a test pilot or something. So I don't think, it doesn't sound like there would be really room for a love story. Nothing like that is mentioned. It's just like these 2 guys. Now I haven't seen True Detective, so I don't know how that show goes. If there is like a love interest or anything, I don't really know. But I feel like with Damon Lindelof and Tom King and I forget the guy's name.
Yes.
From True Detective. What if Damon Lindelof does anything near what he did with Watchmen, this show can be anything. Who knows what the show will be? And I'm hoping that because of Watchmen, that people will come and we'll get some high quality like actors who are really, really good for the roles. Clone Avenger mentions potentially setting up Black Hand as the baddie in this series. It would be wild. I agree. I kind of hope it's Black Lanterns. I hope it's William Hand. Black Hand.
Okay.
I think he's a really cool sort of, he was one of those Silver Age guys I was kind of dorky. Oh, I'm got the hand of death or whatever.
Right.
Jeff Johns took that like really goofy Silver Age character, brought him into the late 2000s, really fleshed out that character and created something nightmarish to the point where there's one point where he unalives himself so that he can like fulfill his prophecy to be like Black Lantern. It's a Doug Mankey, who is an amazing artist. I believe did that issue, and it made Stevie stop reading Jeff Johns' run of Green Lantern because it was too much to handle.
Oh wow!
So if the show goes dark, that's the darkest you can go. And I think William Hand would be an amazing villain if it's set on Earth, because he is an Earth villain. And even when he created like the Black Lanterns and stuff, he was pretty much stuck around Earth. And what was great about it is he started he revived the Pa Kent.
Oh yes, that's right.
Superman.
Yes.
He Black Lantern fied the Waynes to torment.
Yes.
Like it's a crazy concept. So I'm hoping, like, if they're going for this dark, hard edge sort of detective show thing, and if it's like True Detective where it's really dark and stuff like that, I think 100% Black Hand would be the way to go. And that makes me excited.
Yes.
Because if it's going to be on Earth, that's the coolest threat, I think. Everybody else, the Blue Lanterns are on Odom. The Red Lanterns on Yzmalt. Like, there isn't really a lot of Earth-based Lantern corps, other than the Black Lanterns, because Green Lanterns are from Oa. Like, their home bases are different places. So, Clone Avenger says, I think Gunn did say Lanterns play a major part in this DCU story. So setting up Blackest Night down the road would be amazing. I mean, listen. This Superman movie coming out, and this is all pure speculation. And I know when you start speculating, you get disappointed that it didn't go your way. I try to keep a clear mind, but I'm going to speculate the crap out of this. I think the reason why there may be so many characters in Superman, your Guy Gardner's, your Hawk Girl, your Metamorpho, all these like crazy, like sort of like Justice League characters. If we get a few deaths, it'll set them up for a Blackest Night.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
So that was the one thing about the Green Lantern the animated series. It's like they wanted to do Blackest Night, but have you set up enough character deaths to be like, once they come back, you're like, oh no, this means trouble for Bruce. This means trouble for Clark. So I'm keeping my expectations down on that front, but I think if they're setting up Blackest Night on the show, I'm gonna flip. I think that'll be really awesome. Blackest Night, probably one of the greatest crossovers in DC history, especially since it's one of the first main crossovers, DC crossovers that was Green Lantern centric. I know Sinestro Corps had Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps comic books come together, and there was some ancillary stuff, but like Blackest Night was a DC event. And so if they're setting that up here, I mean, I'm all for it. It. I have high hopes for this series. I think I'm ready for it.
And
do you? Okay. Go for it.
I was gonna say, wasn't that a great time when Jeff Johns was writing Green Lantern? Like, Green Lantern, Hal specifically, was at the center of the DC universe, and it hasn't felt that way again, I don't think, since then. And we're always gonna have Batman, Superman, Justice League. It's always kind of rotating. But it was nice to have Green Lantern at the center for a little bit, and then Flashpoint, we had Flash at the center for a little bit. But that from Sinestro Corps War to Blackest Night to the White Lanterns, like all of those, his whole entire run, Brightest Day, his whole run was just like a great time to be in comics, in DC comics.
Yeah, especially a GL fan and a DC fan.
Yes.
So Clone Avenger. So here's the thing. I'm producing a movie about Lost, and we found footage from the Comic-Con 2004, which is before Jeff Johns' run, mind you. This is before Rebirth, because Rebirth, I believe, was 2005.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Damon
Yeah.
Lindelof was promoting Lost while wearing a Green Lantern shirt, very similar to yours. And there is a Green Lantern Flash comic book in the pilot episode of Lost. So if you watch the movie, you're going to see some Green Lantern stuff sort of sprinkled visually throughout. Just because of that, the Green Lantern issue, and because Damon Lindelof wearing that thing. So that's one of the things I'm really excited about with Damon Lindelof is he's been a Green Lantern fan since before Jeff Johns. So he was back when it was like, this is like just at the end of Kyle Rayner's run, and he's wearing a classic Hal shirt.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, so this dude knows what is going on. I think I've told this story before. We interviewed Damon Lindelof in his office at Warner Brothers, and he said the only request was, please just don't point the cameras at the whiteboard. And me being a really sort of non-creeper, I decided not to look at the whiteboard. And I'm kicking myself ever since. Because I would have seen something on there that said either Hal, John, Construct, whatever. I don't want to be spoiled, but at the same time, like while we're setting up the shots and he's waiting for us to start rolling, I can just talk to someone about Green Lantern, because that's the only reason I'm doing the show, is because I want to talk to people about Green Lantern. And there's not a lot of Green Lantern fans out there to talk to in my regular life. I have some friends that I see in person that like Green Lantern, but we don't really talk about it. There's not much. That's why this show exists, because you're in a different state than me, and we're able to do this because that's how bad I need to talk about Green Lantern. So, tomorrow will be on the East Coast, and I want to talk about Green Lantern, and this is the best way to do it.
And you got me to watch the Green Lantern animated series the last time I was on. You had recommended and spoke so highly of it. So I'm glad that you have this forum and that you have this outlet, because
how far did you make it through?
I think I'm on episode 5. I started it and I was like really enjoying it, but then other life just happened. I'm kind of in a little bit of Kite Man just ended, so I don't have a regular comic book show to watch right now. So I was looking at Superman and Lois, because I had fallen, or Lois and Superman, which one? Superman and Lois. I'd fallen behind on that, so I was gonna go to that, but I said, you know what? Now I think I have the chance to go back to Green Lantern, so I think that is gonna be my weekly show until the next thing comes out. Penguin is gonna be the next one.
Right, that's like next week.
Oh crap! Well, I'll do both. I'll do Penguin and Green Lantern as back to back.
Listen, take your time with Green Lantern. You're going to get to the point where you can't stop watching, and then you're going to be sad when it's over. So savor Green Lantern. Yeah. Just savor it. Let's talk real quick about Jon Stewart. There has been zero rumors about who's playing Jon Stewart, who's a rookie. So I think this is where you get your unknown. This is where they discover someone that's awesome. I know a lot of fans online are saying Aaron Pierre, who I'm not familiar with. I think he was I forget. I looked him up. I completely forgot to jot down what he was in. His name's Aaron Pierre. He looks young. He looks cool. I have a fan casting for Jon Stewart, and it's someone that's dipped his toes in the DC waters twice. And he's also played Jon Stewart, and that's Aldous Hodge. So Aldous Hodge, who played Hawkman in Black Adam, a movie that I did not like at all. But he was great. Like, I feel like all the Justice Society in that movie, like Pierce Brosnan was amazing. Aldous Hodge was great. But I'm thinking, I don't think Aldous Hodge is going to come back for Hawkman. I think that's been squashed. Give him a chance. I think he would be great as Jon Stewart. He played Jon Stewart in the movie Beware My Power. Also a thing I did not care for.
I was
so I really like Aldous Hodge, but I'd like him to be get like a good DC character to really like sink his teeth into. So that's my sort of thought on that. Do you have any sort of fan casting for Jon Stewart?
Man, there's so many good ones. Now, did they did they say he was supposed to be younger, or did they say anything about the Jon Stewart? Yeah, have they released any information about what his character is supposed to be like in this one?
Not really, other that
Okay.
he's younger, like he's a rookie.
Okay.
So he's got to be fairly young. I'd say about
Yeah.
25,
Okay.
30, even though Aldous Hodge is like 37 or something. But
Yeah, he
I really
fits.
feel
Plus,
bad
like,
for the guy because he's
yeah,
so good in those two things,
he's
but those two
yeah,
things weren't great.
100%. I'm right there with you. I also like how James Gunn was saying a lot of the people who are doing the animated voices are going to be doing the live action and then the video game. Like they're supposed to be having the
Yeah,
synergy between everything. So that would be cool to see him there. I think um Aaron Pierre, I'm not familiar with him, but I looked him up and
right.
I guess he's going to be Mufasa and there's some other things. Oh, he
Okay.
was in Krypton, but that could be
Oh,
a good unknown.
I like that
Oh,
show. Did you watch
oh,
Krypton?
I didn't get a chance to. That was another one that
It,
kind of
it,
slipped through
it
my
was it was
fingers.
like a cheap soap opera, but it sucked me in. It got to the point where it's like, oh, I can't
Ah,
keep watching this. This is so good. The characters
ah,
are so good. They have
yeah.
like they have like four sets that they walk between. Hannah Waddington's in it. If you like Ted
Oh,
Lasso, Hannah
okay,
Waddington
yeah, uh-huh.
is in it. It's Colin Salmon plays Zod. It's a good show, but it's very very low budget. They shot in like Romania or something, and I
Ah,
literally have I think four sets, and they're constantly like redressing the street sets of Krypton.
ah.
But but the thing is, if you can get once you get into the characters in the story, like I'm like it's actually like who wants to see the story of Superman's great grandfather? And it's
Right.
like apparently I do because I just started eating it up.
Okay, man. I mean, if the story's good, that's kind of how I look at like the original Star Trek series. It's like some of the effects are dated, and you can see the
Mhm.
styrofoam rocks that they're throwing, but the stories are so good. It's like it's timeless because they're so good.
Right.
So yeah, as long as the story is good on
It's
Krypton,
a
I'm in.
David S. Goyer
Oh,
ran that
okay,
show,
okay.
so it's
He was
got
kind of like the
some.
showrunner.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Well, maybe I'll give that one a try. But the Green Lantern show comes first.
Lanterns first.
Um,
Green Lanterns first. 100%.
I could see. I saw some people talking about Idris Elba, but he's. I think
It's
if you're going to do a rookie, he's far
yeah.
beyond. I could see Michael B. Jordan. Um, I like his again another charismatic actor, and I've seen him in a ton of things. Obviously, he was in Black Panther, and um,
Creed.
he can bring Creed. He has that leading man charisma, but he can also be like a secondary guy, like we saw in Black Panther. Like he's the villain in that, but he can still play second fiddle to somebody. Um, man, there's so many good like possibilities of young actors in Hollywood that they I didn't see one. I was kind of looking at the fan casting. I didn't see one that I didn't like. Michael B. Jordan is probably my favorite out of the ones that I've
Yeah.
seen. But all the young talent, like it's kind of crazy the amount of really good young black actors that are working right now in
Mhm.
television and film. So I don't know if they could go wrong. Like they could throw a dart at the board and hit somebody and say, "Oh, okay, we're gonna do him." Uh,
And they would have
John
the pick of the
Stewart,
litter. I
yeah,
honestly feel like with the team, the creative team behind this, they'll be able to pull in
yes,
anybody
yes,
they want,
yeah,
except for Josh Brolin because he doesn't
or
need it.
Matthew
But
McConaughey, yeah.
right,
Um,
that one was the one that sat the least for me. It did not. It sat really weird for me. The
would
Matthew
he
McConaughey
do
one.
like a Texas accent for Hal Jordan?
I don't know if I've
Um,
seen him not do one.
all right, all right, all right. In brightest day and blackest night, I could see that.
In brightest day and blackest night. All right, all right, all right.
Yes, yes, I could see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many good choices that they could do for John Stewart. Even like Denzel's son, John David Washington. I
Oh
could
yeah,
see him.
I like him in
There's
the
just
Creator.
there's a lot of like charismatic, like you could. they draw your attention. Like when they come on the screen, there's just certain actors that it's like, whoa, who is that? Like that's somebody. I actually kind of another one that I feel bad for, kind of similar to Aldridge was
Aldous
the one.
Hodge.
Hodge.
Aldous Hodge. Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for also a Damon Lindelof cast member was Yahya Abdul Mateen the third or the
Right.
second, who
The
he
third.
was. I thought he was good in Aquaman as Black Manta,
Mhm.
but that was not the best. And then I liked him in Watchmen, but I wanted to see more. I didn't think there was
you saw
enough.
plenty.
Well, not that part. I wanted to see more.
Right.
This part. I just feel like he's and in the Matrix. I don't know if you saw the Matrix.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Resurrections.
Yeah, Resurrection. I can't even remember the names of them, but it was when he was cast as Morpheus. I was like, oh yeah, Morpheus. But then I felt like he was in it for like 2 minutes and then he was gone. So
Yeah.
I
Then it
just
became
he
like a
constantly,
hologram.
yeah, he's constantly getting these roles where I'm like, man, I wish there was more of him because I like him as an actor, but he hasn't really had a role that's been like really like he could sink his teeth into. He was Candyman,
Right.
also, if you're into the Candyman stuff, but I could see him as John Stewart also. That's another one.
That'd be great. I'm all for it. I'm going to tell you this. I think I'm going to have a show tomorrow. We're going to talk about Green Lantern 15. I'll probably also get Will Smith's take on some of these fan castings and some thoughts on the rumors. But like as soon as anything happens, like I'm at the point now where this show might no longer become a weekly show. It might become an every other day show. Because if some rumor comes up, if some rumor comes up when they actually start casting people and when they start like mentioning who's directing episodes or who's actually writing each individual episode or whatever's happening, any sort of confirmed Variety or Hollywood Reporter thing that comes across for Lanterns, I'm popping on live.
Nice.
I'm popping on live. So the best thing to do is A, subscribe to the channel because that would be awesome. But B, hit the bell icon so that as soon as I start going live, there may be no warning. I might just go live because I'm so excited, dude. This show is going to be hopefully the thing that people get to see how cool Green Lantern actually could be.
I hope so.
People didn't like the movie. Nobody watched Green Lantern, the animated series. And it's the wrong way around. I wish more people saw Green Lantern, the animated series, and watched the movie less, because you get a better sense of what this world is. And I think with it being on HBO Max, maybe it'll come on around the time the Game of Thrones,
right? House of the Dragon.
Show, House of Dragon. When that hopefully, as that show ends a season, Lanterns is pushed there, and it kind of grabs those people from the fantasy realm into the sci-fi Green Lantern realm. Because I mean, dude, the Green Lantern is a character with a ton of potential, and it's been far too long since the public's got a really good look at it. So I'm hoping that people can, whoever they cast, enough people are excited to want to come check it out. It seemed like Josh Brolin, for me, although I wasn't like the biggest fan of Josh Brolin casting, I started hearing about it on podcasts that don't cover comic books. So it's like, okay, I don't really, if I'm not excited, that's okay. But as long as other people are excited and we get more Green Lantern fans, that's all that matters. I need more Green Lantern fans. So Vactor, you want to do some plugs?
Yes. If you're interested in Star Wars, first, subscribe and watch and listen to live action Star Wars. But then after you do that, then come over to my channel, which is called Trust in the Force. I'm trying to talk about more Star Wars stuff before Skeleton Crew comes out. But I've been trying to think about which comic series I want to talk about. So I'm kind of in limbo on that one. But if you're also interested in comic books, I have a comic book channel where we are talking about all of the latest and greatest in comics. We are loving Ultimate Spider-Man right now. So that is our kind of recommendation, our pick that we've been telling everybody. So that channel is called This Comic Cooks. Yeah, there it is.
you go. Thank you for
Thank you
joining
very
me.
much.
I am. I'll have you back. Once the show like starts happening, I'll do like live trailer reactions and all the stuff. I feel
Even
like we're this close to like a big sort of Green Lantern resurgence, and I couldn't be
yes,
happier.
yes. Even if I'm not
Uh,
on the show as a guest, I will be in the comment section talking to everybody.
you're in the comment section even when you're on the show, so
I
you'll
cloned
always be in the
myself.
comment section.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for joining me, everybody in the chat. Thanks for the great conversation. We'll be back tomorrow, so make sure you read Green Lantern issue 15 by Jeremy Adams and Fernando Pasarin, because that'll be coming tomorrow at 4:00 Pacific time, along with Will Smith from the Lanterns podcast. Until next time, beware my podcast. It's Lanterns Live. Bye.